boxes hovering in motionless space, people around me saying to pick up the pace. And just like the frames on the floor, I'm feeling so out of place, bodies torn apart as the grounds beneath change. I look up to see a solemn look on your face, and all I want to hear is your voice say, "It will all be okay. This will all be okay. This will all be okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, I'm okay." Lost in the motions, stuck in imbalance, I start to notice what to me really matters. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to lose you. I'm just trying to adjust, but I fear for the new view. Will it all be okay? Will it all be okay? Can I stay? Can I stay? Will I stay every day? As the scales start to tip, my mind starts to shift. I think of all the places we've been. Could this all be a gift? Yes, it is, and sorrow starts to lift. I don't know what this is, but I'll take what I can get. This has all been okay. This has all been okay. It's okay, it's okay. It's okay, we're okay. This is not my home anymore. This is my home. But not forever. Someday I'll find myself a new home. A home that I can call my home. My home forever. Hello and welcome. That poem you just heard was my original poem called Home Forever Part 2. And it is a poem I wrote in high school and is part of my book called Maybe Someday, Maybe Someday. This poem, along with the rest in this book, are poems that I wrote when I was in high school, going through a really tough time in my life, struggling with a lot of things like personally in my life and struggling with a lot of mental health and all kinds of stuff like that. And I started writing poetry to kind of help me express my thoughts and work through these things I was dealing with so I could have a way to kind of face them more directly so I can try to work through and overcome all these things. And that's exactly what it's done. The years since then, I've continued to write, and it's just over time helped me to get to a much better place with myself and get to a much more hopeful and happy place in life overall. So if you're at all interested in joining me on this journey through this book and my second book, which is called I Love Him at Last, you can go ahead and subscribe and check out my old videos that I already have up of the poems we've already gone through. And yeah, I'd love to have you stick around and follow along with my journey, see the rest of the poems in this book and the next one and others I continue to write, and together we can arrange our own brokenness. So of course, as I said, this poem is called Home Forever Part 2, and we already did just Home Forever on this channel a little while ago, so if you're interested in checking out that one first, you can go take a look at that video. But yeah, to kind of summarize that was a Home Forever. The first one was when I wrote, like right when my parents were separating when I was in high school, and of course, that was something I never expected to happen growing up and was incredibly difficult. And so Home Forever, that first one, was me kind of responding immediately with kind of that anger and confusion and just feeling completely overwhelmed negatively by these ways that made me feel. So Home Forever is kind of my expression of how desperately I never wanted that to happen, and just trying to hold on to what our family had always been before that, and just kind of being mad at my parents for sort of at the time feeling like they were ruining all of our lives by separating and kind of breaking our family apart in a way. So now this one, Home Forever Part 2, I wrote a little while later after the first one, and wrote it during the time when my family was moving out of that house we were in, and my parents were each moving into their own separate houses. And I wrote as we were like packing up our stuff and moving into these new places. And so that's kind of what the beginning part there is describing, just that process of moving and kind of describing it in this way it felt for me, feeling like super empty, like beyond just the emptiness of emptying the house. It was like emptying out everything we ever were as a family and all the memories and everything that had happened with our family and in that time together just felt gone and missing, and like we were all just leaving it behind. And even though I wasn't so overwhelmed with just anger and everything like I was in that first one, I still just wasn't, of course, happy about what was going on. And so I'm maybe not quite resisting as much, but not so willing to just move on like everyone else seemed to be. And so, there in that first part where I say, boxes hovering in motionless space, people around me saying to pick up the pace, and just like the frames on the floor, I'm feeling so out of place. Just kind of showing how just strange this whole situation felt, and how I mean, even literally, like when that was happening, I was just so emotionally overwhelmed and everything. I just kind of shut down and just want to live in this moment in this house and not think about moving and everything. And I just be there, just sitting there, or even at times there were times where I would just like completely break down and just be sitting there crying while everyone else is packing up stuff, and I just couldn't accept it the way that everyone else could, and just felt so out of place. Like this isn't who we are, and it just felt like we were completely being torn apart. Like then it says in that next line, bodies torn apart as the grounds beneath change. Like the like our family is being split apart as we move into these new houses, these new places. And I just so desperately wanted my family to reassure me that it would all be okay, whether that be that they like realize all of this was wrong and we should all just come back together as a family all together, or that they could be able to like truly convince me and reassure me that what was happening was truly for the best, because no matter how hard I tried at that time, I just couldn't see that. But then later on, because of this like great feeling of loss and everything that I was trying to endure, as I say there, I start to notice what to me really matters. Like the the things that matter most to you are most apparent when it feels like you're losing everything. I mean, as sort of cliche or whatever as it is, like it's kind of that idea of like you never you never know what you have until it's gone. And so as I'm kind of feeling like I'm losing my family and my past and all this stuff I've ever had, it kind of shows me what really matters. And I guess for some of my family, the things that mattered to them exactly were a little different, and that's why they saw this situation differently than me. They had different priorities and values and whatever that meant that they received this thing that was happening to us in a different way. And of course, my family meant a lot to me, and I, as I say there, I don't want to hurt them and I don't want to lose them. I don't want to do anything to hurt my family. I wouldn't want to keep them forced together just to please me, even if it's going to make things worse for them. But also at the same time, I don't want to lose this family I'd always had, and I don't want to grow apart from the people who are closest to me. And then after that, where I say I'm trying to adjust, but I fear for the new view. Like I'm as much as it doesn't seem like it, or I might be struggling with it. I am. I was at the time trying to accept what was happening and go along with them and try to find the good in it, but I was just so scared for like the uncertainty of what was to come and just how foreign this whole thing felt to me. So again, I'm questioning, will this all be okay? And can we still stay together as a family in some way? And just really trying to hold on and try to find some hope. But it was at a point where I was just not feeling it so much that I was just desperately asking, pleading that someone can reassure me that there is hope in all of this. So then there's that next part where I say, as the scales start to tip, my mind starts to shift. I think of all the places we've been. Could this all be a gift? And that's kind of as I wrote that a little bit later on when we were a little bit further into the process of moving. And so as the scales start to tip from this stage in our life into this new one, my own mind starts to have a bit of a transformation. And of course, I wasn't super happy still about everything that was happening, but starting to at least gain some sense of acceptance for it. I had a little bit more time to reflect on everything and think this whole situation through, and kind of, in one way, the wondering if this could all be a gift was kind of seeing the negatives of our family dynamic in the past and the problems that were there, and kind of seeing if maybe this change is for the best and will help all of us to kind of have better lives in a way, and it'll all be for the best. Then the other side of that, where it's, I guess, a bit more hopeful in the ways I would have originally wanted, of like staying together, it's maybe this could all be a gift for us, and maybe we just needed to go through this struggle to truly get to a better place as a family. Like, maybe this is just an obstacle in our journey as a family, and it'll actually help to bring us together better. So then I'm starting to feel a bit more hopeful at this point, saying, yes, it is, and sorrow starts to lift. I don't know what this is, but I'll take what I can get. So it was kind of this indescribable sense of feeling hopeful that I was starting to feel. And now looking back on this several years later, and I feel like kind of what I was expressing with that kind of did come true, because like both sides of it being a gift, because I feel like that really helped my parents to get to a better place individually. Like, they are both much happier people, and I think just in a much better place with themselves and with us, like their kids, than they were when they were together. And then also at the same time, because of that, we all like our whole family is kind of has a better, more positive connection than we all did at the time. So then I'm, with that hope, now a bit more sure that this is all okay and we will all be okay in the end. And start to realize, as I say at the end, that this is not my home anymore. This new home, this new sort of form of our family, is what our home is now. And no matter how much I want to go back and stay in that old home we were in all together as a family, like, that's not the truth anymore. We have moved on from that and are in this new stage, this new home. And at the same time, though, as in the last poem, the home forever was me desperately hoping that we could keep this home, our home, forever. But now I'm recognizing that that home is no longer our home, and this new home is not going to be our home forever. It's not going to be my home forever. I know that someday I will then move on from there and find my own home, wherever that is, and it'll be a place that I can truly call my home, and I can live in it the way I want to, and that will be my home forever. And I will find my, like, there was kind of a double meaning there of like a literal house, and also how I was feeling so out of place within myself during this time, that I was trying to hope that someday I would not be in this home of, like, internally the home of myself, and I would, like, this dark place I was in, and I would be able to overcome these things I was dealing with and find a better home within myself. And then that new house I live in later on, or that new place I am internally with myself, would then hopefully become my home forever. And again, looking back on this now is really cool, because just in those few years, I now have my own house that I'm in right now, and am in a much better place within myself. And it's not coming up anytime soon within this, but I have more recently written a Home Forever Part 3, that is not in either of these books and will eventually be in my third book when it eventually comes out. So I guess another reason, if you're interested, to stick around if you'd like to someday see that and see how my view on home and everything has changed over the years since this one. Forgot to mention this, but this is yet another example of me saying someday in this book, which contributed to the book's title of maybe someday, as I've talked about before. So before I go, just really quick, I of course hope that you enjoyed the poem and maybe found some things within it and any other things I said that could possibly connect with you in some way and maybe try to inspire and give you some hope. And if that's the case in any way, or you just have any thoughts on anything I said or that poem in general, of course, I'd always be happy to hear about that in the comments and see what you think about my poems and how you can connect with my story. And I invite you to kind of think and reflect for a moment and sort of think of yourself as a home and like your mind and body and everything and think about what is this home like for you right now, and just kind of think of how this home looks to you and how you are taking care of it and what it's like overall, and then ask yourself, is this the home that I want to be my home forever? And if it's not, as I did when I was during this time, kind of thinking of who I was at the time and how I was how I had built my house of myself and how I took care of it and what I kept inside of it and everything in and out of my house. If it's not how you want it to be, try to figure out how you can make those changes to make it that home that you would want to be your home forever. And yeah, that's what I started doing around the time when I wrote this poem and really started to try to transform the home within myself so I can get to a much better place in my life and someday feel at home truly within myself. And of course, while I have made a lot of progress with that over these years through my writing, especially, I am still working on that journey, still trying to find that place I can truly call home within this world and within myself. But I'm getting there, and I know, of course, you could too. So, anyway, just again, thank you for watching, and remember that we're all broken and we're just arranging the pieces. Thank you.